back to the YouTube channel of Pro Enzo Vids, and this is my round 2 NRL tips for 2023. So, yes, the footy last week returned, and it was a great round. It was probably the best round 1 that I've seen in a very long time. And you know, after seeing how the games panned out last week, I think the games and the matchups this week are going to go to a whole new level, in my opinion. Like, I'm looking forward to a lot of games in round 2. It's going to be exciting seeing how, you know, Premiership heavyweights, Panthers and the Rabbitohs going Thursday night. That's one to watch. I think that's going to be a massive game. That's hard to tip. Well, actually, you know what? The first 3 games of round 2 are going to be so good to watch. Obviously, yeah, like I said, Souths and Penrith at Penrith. Eels and Sharks, the early Friday night footy game at PointsBet Stadium. So that'll be good. And then Broncos, Cowboys, the main game on the Friday too at Suncorp Stadium. So that's 3 blockbusters in a row to start round 2. So you think that them games are going to be amazing, and I hope they are. So I really am looking forward to round 2 and the other games played as well. So it should be good. Before I start, I just want to say that there's a bit of an announcement. So obviously Manly, they had a win. And they had a win. They were obviously pretty good over they played last night actually, and it was a closed door game. They played the bye, and you know, it was tough. It was actually tough for a bit, but Manly came away with the win, so you know, it was all right. Got a guaranteed 2 points now, so we stay around the top, I think. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. Nah, I'm just joking. We had, this week Manly don't play. It's a bye, and so that's why we don't have a name side. So yeah, it's all right. That's good. It's good. I enjoy the bye. But no, look. Just before I start again, I just want to say that if you are new, you're watching the YouTube channel right now, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Look, I'm very close to 3K subscribers. That's the goal, to get to 3K by hopefully the end of the month at least. Even earlier, as I'm only 30 subs away from 3K. So, look, if I can get there by hopefully very shortly and soon, then that's going to be amazing for myself and the YouTube channel. So please subscribe if you haven't already. But without further ado, time to get to my round 2 tips. A big weekend coming up. Right, Panthers and the Rabbitohs, Thursday night footy on the 9th of March. And this is at 8 PM at Panthers Stadium. Wow, what a game. It's the 2021 Grand Final rematch, and obviously the last time these two sides played, it was in the last year's prelim last year, where Panthers knocked the Rabbitohs out to go into the Grand Final for 2022. So I have no doubt Souths will like to get some redemption after that. So yeah, I think they'll be in for a big one, Souths. But same with Penrith after their shocking loss to the Broncos by a point. So I think being back at home and losing at home to the Broncos will have to fire them up, surely. I think so anyway. But it'll be a big game, so I'm looking forward to it. But going through both sides quickly. For the Panthers, Scott Sorensen's out with concussion, so his place has been taken by Matt Eisenhuth, and that's the only change in that team. Latrell Mitchell with a PCL has been named to play so far, pending on if he gets ruled out late. But so far it's good to go as far as I know. Tavita Totola and Jai Arrow hamstring and Totola head knock. Both of them are out. So Daniel Saluka-Fafita starts at prop, and Jed Cartwright joins the bench. And bench forward Hame Sele with a calf is sidelined, and Tane Milden in the reserves after serving his suspension from last year. Wow, Panthers and the Rabbitohs, eh? This is tough. Latrell's in if he plays, that's massive. Panthers like to get a bounce back here. Wow. You know what? I'm gonna tip the Panthers here. But I could regret this one. I could really regret this one, but I'm tipping Penrith here because I feel like that at home they'll want to bounce back hugely, and then I think they'll just, you know, refresh after last week's game against the Broncos, and they'll blow the cobwebs out, I reckon. So I think they'll bounce back this week. But you know, with how Souths played and how they did against Cronulla, I do think that there's a chance they could upset. Well, not really upset, because I think they're both great sides, but they could definitely win this game. But just because it's in Penrith. But if this was at a call, I would have tipped Souths, but probably because it's back-to-back games at Penrith, and I can't see Panthers losing back-to-back games at home, I'll tip Panthers here by 4. So 20 points to 16 is my score. And my first try scorer is going to be... Let's go Souths for first try, actually. And I reckon it'll be Isaac Thompson on the wing. Alright, on to the next game now. It is the Eels taking on the Sharks at PointsBet Stadium in Cronulla. Both sides had lost last week, with Eels losing to the Storm and Sharks losing to the Rabbitohs. Both were in the games, of course, but just losses, I guess, hurt. So there's no doubt both sides are looking for redemption this week at Shark Park. But going for the Eels team just quickly, Sean Russell has served a suspension that occurred late last year in the New South Wales Cup and comes in the wing for the GOAT, Isaac Loom. And then Bailey Simonson's in the reserves because because of shoulder, but he's looking to return soon. And for the Sharks, Wade Graham heads to the judiciary on Tuesday night after pleading not guilty to a reckless high tackle, but guilty to a careless high tackle. So the outcome of that will be interesting. And Connor Tracy will take his place on the bench, while Royce Hunt returns from an elbow injury on the bench, and Jack Williams' head knock is out. So that's the team news for both clubs. Who am I tipping? It's, like I said, it's a tough game because I think both sides would like to bounce back after their losses last week. Obviously, Eels were good against Storm despite losing, and same with Sharks. Like Sharks against the Rabbitohs without Hines, I thought was still competitive. So I have no doubt they want to play well for their home fans, but I have no doubt Eels want to bounce back and not go 0-2. So it'd be tough to really decide here, but I don't know. I've got a strange feeling about the Sharks. I think the Sharks might get them here. I really think they'll get them here. I know I was that close to tipping the Eels just then, but I'm tipping the Sharks. And this might sound really bold because there's no Hines playing, but I don't know. Something tells me at home, Mulatala, Talakai, Raymond, Katoa, Kennedy, I think those players will do enough for the Sharks getting the win here. I think just back at home, I think that will help them a lot. They'll give them the advantage to play well for the home crowd. So I'll go the Sharks here 1-12, and my first try score is going to be Ronaldo and Mulatalo on the wing. I think the Sharks will, not an upset, but definitely, not expected to win without Hines. So I'll go Sharks here. I reckon they can do it. Right, on to the main game on the Friday now, and this is huge. This has been hyped up so much ever since it got named in the draw late last year, and I think this is one that will go against the wire in my opinion, and it always does between the Broncos and the Cowboys. Like, it's always a 1-4 scoreline at least. So I really am looking forward to this game. I really am, as a fan of this little rivalry. I think it'll be a great game. So I think it'll be a tight one. So look, I'm looking forward to it. Apparently, it's scheduled to rain on the day as well, so that makes things really interesting to how both sides adjust to that. But I'll go through both sides, as this game's at Suncorp as well, by the way. So going through both sides, Reece Walsh makes his first real appearance back for the Broncos in the NRL. So he'll play fullback, and Selwyn Cobbo moves to the wing. Jesse Arthurs goes to 18th man. But other than that, the side's still the same. For the Cowboys, they got no changes. They're 1-17. Who am I tipping? This is very tough. I had to think about this at work all day, who I tip in this one. So it's just so even. I don't know. It's very even when you look at both teams. But Walsh back. I don't know. Cowboys second half wasn't a concern. Like, the way they dropped that game, but still won though, obviously. But the way they dropped that game towards that period of when it was 18-6 to make it 18-all, that was a real concern. I mean, the Broncos play well, but they could get a bit complacent, So that's the issues I have for both sides. But I'm gonna tip the Cowboys here. I'm gonna tip the Cowboys by probably 2, with zero confidence. Like, I'm tipping the Cowboys here with zero confidence. I think that the Broncos could really get up and get the win here, but I'm gonna go with the Cowboys to get the win here. It's a tough one because I really don't know who I'm leaning towards, but I'll go Cowboys just because I think I trust them a bit more. But in saying that, there's nothing in this game. I think it can go either way. So I'll go Cowboys here by 4, and I'll go for first try scorer. Give me Reece Walsh in his return. Okay, on to Super Saturday now. It is the Roosters taking on the Warriors, and this is at Allianz Stadium at 3 p.m. So, another interesting game because the Warriors played really well against the Knights last Friday at Wellington, and, it wasn't the best game, I guess, with quality, but the Warriors and some of their players stood out quite well. Most notable, Chancey Cloxted Dylan Walker from the bench, and I've got to say Mitchell Barnett at prop was pretty good. And as for the Roosters, disappointing. They were on Sunday. They obviously were not good enough against the Dolphins, who really shocked them with that 10-point win there. But it's a real flip of a coin game, because I think, you know, the Warriors can turn up in their day when they're really good. And the Roosters, you know, when they're on, they're probably the best team in the comp, to like almost, you know, dominant team in the comp when they're on, I'd say anyway. But it's tough. I'll go through both sides though. The Roosters have Joseph Manu back this week, which is a big in, so he'll go to the centres. Drew Hutchison goes back to the interchange, and Corey Allen drops out to 18th man. Matt Lodge is out with a facial injury, so his place is taken by Fletcher Baker. And Victor Rayleigh has been named despite suffering a head knock against the Dolphins, and Warrior Hargreaves is still sidelined. And as for the Warriors, same 17, so no changes in that 1 to 17 for the Warriors team, but Dallin Watene-Lesley on track to return soon, though, it says. Right, my tip for this game, it's very hard, because I can see an upset brewing, but will I back it? No, I won't. I think the Roosters will win here, but I'm only going to go Roosters 1 to 12. I think the Roosters will win here by about 8 points, and I think I'll go first try scorer, Joseph Manu, in his return, but I would not be shocked if the Warriors won, because I do see them being really competitive in this game, but I'll go save and tip the Roosters. Okay, on to the 5:30 game now. It is the Dolphins taking on the Raiders at KO Stadium, so it's now the renowned KO Stadium, and it used to be obviously called Moreton Daily Stadium before, but now it's KO Stadium thanks to the name change there. So Dolphins Raiders, very interesting game, because the Dolphins had a great win over the Roosters and an upset sort of victory, and with the Raiders they were very close against the Cowboys. They really could have won that game if they completed that comeback properly, but yeah, look, obviously Cowboys down them right in the end, so that would hurt Canberra. But I think that they'll be out for some redemption this week, I'm sure. So this shapes up to be a very interesting game. All right, going through both sides for the Dolphins on debut, and obviously been another debut video on the weekend. Youngster Mason Teague has been named to make his NRL debut off the bench, replacing Ray Stone in the only change to that side. And yeah, that's the only change, obviously. And for the Raiders, there's only one change. Albert Hopewadi replaces the suspended Jordan Rapana on the wing. So, and Josh Papali'i is still remained sidelined. Okay, my tip for this game, it's hard. This is very tough. But after seeing what the Dolphins did on Sunday, I really think they can back it up. And it only helps when it's sold out at their own home ground at KO Stadium. I know it's not a big stadium, that's why it's sold out so quickly. But I think you think there'll be a bit more Dolphins fans than the Raiders fans. So I think Dolphins will get up here, and I think they'll win at home. So I reckon the Dolphins will win here by about 10 points. But yeah, like I said, I think Canberra will have a chance here, but I think Dolphins will be a bit too good. And my first try scorer is going to be a bit very bold, and I'm going to go with Hudson Young in the back row for first try for the Raiders, but despite losing. And on to the final game of Super Saturday, it is the Storm taking on the Bulldogs at Amy Park in Melbourne. So Storm return home after their amazing win and game against the Eels in the season opener. And the Bulldogs obviously got humiliated by my team Manly, so we'll see what the reaction is from the Bulldogs this week, and see if the players do have a mental change in the way they play. But look, it's gonna be another tough game. I know it's so easy with how the Storm and the Dogs play to determine the winner, but Dogs do turn up for some games against Melbourne, so you never know. But looking at both sides, Cameron Munster's out. So that means Tyron Wishart takes over at 5'8", with Aaron Penne coming onto the bench after recovering from a rib injury, and Xavier Coates has been named to play despite hurting his shoulder against the Eels. As for the Bulldogs, there's no changes for them. So Cameron Serrato has kept the same 17 as last week. So Jane Tanner and Jacob Preston keep the spots in the team, which is good to see. And same with Alamotti in the centres. Who am I tipping? I'll tip Melbourne, but I think it'll be 1 to 12. I think it'll be close. So I think that they'll win Melbourne, but it won't be a convincing type win. So I think Melbourne will win by 12. And I think first try scorer will be Will Warbrick in the wing, but I think Dogs will push them. I really do. Right, on to Sunday now is the Tigers taking on the Knights at Leichhardt Oval at 4:05 p.m. So, yep, Tigers playing back-to-back games at Leichhardt is a real luxury, but knowing the West Tigers, they are a real embarrassment there. They don't really often turn up for their fans, and they don't really often turn up for the occasion at Leichhardt. So it's been really bad, the record there recently. But can fortunes change, of course, but don't know if it'll be the game. Well, I don't know if it'll be this game, but we'll see anyway. So, look, for both teams, the Tigers have Arafi Coruscant starting, but really it could be on the bench again for all we know. Bloody Team Machine's making the wrong calls. Anyway, so Coruscant has been named to start so far. Alex Twelve shifts to the bench. Alex Seyfarth comes onto the squad at the expense of Fanua Pole, and Sean Ball's been named to play despite having that concussion last week, so he's still going to play. And John Bateman is getting closer to a return. And as for the Knights, Dane Gagai returns from a hamstring injury, so he's back for the Knights. Tyson Frizzell head knock has been named pending concussion protocols. Adam Elliott suffered a groin injury and in round 1, and his place has been taken by Jack Johns, and powerful winger Greg Marzu is listed among the reserves as he needs a return from a hip injury. Okay, well, my tip for this game, another really close game to tip actually, because I think it's really tough to tip here, but I'm gonna go with the Knights to win here. Actually, I think Newcastle will bounce back and get the win this week, because obviously one side's going to go 0-2, but I think Knights will make it 1-1. So I think Newcastle will bounce back and get the win, and Jackson Hastings will shove the win in the West Tigers' face. That's my prediction. Hastings to shove the win in the West Tigers' face. So it could be a real ugly one if that's the case. But I think he'll lead his side to a win. So I'll go the Knights here by maybe 14. So that's 13 plus, but not the biggest 13 plus though. And I'll go first try scorer. I reckon it'll be a back rower, and I reckon it'll be through Tyson Frizzell if he plays. Actually, you know what? No, because it's a risky one. He may be ruled out late. But my first try scorer I'm going to go with instead will be another back rower, and that's Isaiah Papali'i. And on to the final game on Sunday, it is the Dragons take on the Titans at Jubilee Oval. Very yuck game. But, I think Dragons having the bye could be an advantage, but depends how they've approached that week off. So it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, depends how they've prepared for this game ahead. But for the Titans, obviously, they had a good win over the Tigers at Leichhardt. And I think that win brings a bit of confidence because their record in Sydney obviously isn't great, but that just shows that win against the Tigers in Sydney shows that it's not impossible for them to win in Sydney. So, no, it was good. It was a good win by them, and I'm sure they'll like to get back-to-back wins in Sydney this Sunday. Looking at both sides, though, Jack Bird has recovered from a knee injury and will start at lock. Jack DeBellin is out with a calf injury, so Toby Couchman will make his NRL debut off the bench, so that's another debut video coming out. So it'd be good to see him debut, but he has a twin, so I'm keen to see when his twin debuts eventually. Jaden Sullivan starts at 5'8", Mo Zembai starts at hooker with Jacob Little going to the bench, and Michael Molo, Zane Musgrove will be on the bench as well. And obviously there was news today that the NRL confirmed that Talatau Monk is now eligible to play, despite having that no stand-down policy happen. So yeah, he'll be named to. Well, he might be named to play, but he's in the reserves for now. As for the Titans, no changes, but Kieran Foran could be out because of that leg injury he copped. So if he doesn't play, it's a big loss. But if he does, then I don't know how fit he'll be, but we'll see anyway. If he does go ahead and play. My final tip for this game, very tough because I do think he can go either way, but oh god, I'm not looking forward to this game, but it's just so tough because both teams are just so similar. Not in a good way though. But who am I tipping? You know what? I reckon the Dragons will win here. I think the Dragons in Sydney, and playing their first home game of the year in Cogra. I know I've tipped them to get the spoon, but I think maybe just because they're at home and because I guess, I don't know, there's a real feel that they'll win this game. I don't know. I might, I'm thinking about going Titans, but I can't change the other. I just said the Dragons, so I'm gonna go with the Dragons by about 2 points. It's gonna be a really shit game. It's gonna be a really error riddled and a very slow game. So it's not gonna be a game that's everyone's gonna like. So. And can you blame them? So yeah, I think the Dragons will win, but it'll be in a very low quality type game. So I'm not looking forward to it. But I'll go first try scorer Matt Figo on the wing. But everyone, that's my final tips and predictions for round 2. I'll go for my tips again just quickly for one last time. So on Thursday, Panthers Rabbitohs, had the Panthers there. On Friday, Eels and Sharks, had the Sharks. On the main game on the Friday, Broncos Cowboys, had the Cowboys. Super Saturday, Roosters over the Warriors. Dolphins v Raiders, Dolphins over Raiders. And then the last game was Super Saturday, Storm over Bulldogs. And on Sunday, Knights over Tigers at Leichhardt. And lastly, Dragons over Titans at Cogra. Everyone, that brings it into my round 2 tips for 2023. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Obviously on my way to 3K subscribers and like an odd 30 subs away. So it would be greatly appreciated if you can subscribe and help my goal to get to 3K, because once I'm there, it's going to be a massive achievement. So I really hope it's not too long till I get there. So please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as well as comment your tips in the comment section down below. So please let me know who you're backing for the weekend and who you believe will win. So please be sure to comment your tips in the comment section down below. But until then, thanks for watching. See you all the very next one.